Hello, and welcome to the Green Therapy. Many people would like to establish a vegetable garden but do not have the necessary outdoor area to do so. Many individuals nowadays live in apartments or high buildings and have no outdoor space to work with for gardening. Fortunately, gardeners are no longer limited to raising raised beds or planting in-ground gardens, and there are a vast range of veggies that thrive in containers. Growing on rooftops, balconies, alleyways, sidewalks, or whatever small space the gardener has available is common in urban gardening. Growing vegetables in containers allows you to have a vegetable garden on your balcony, patio, or even inside beside a sunny window. Gardeners who grow their vegetables in containers also have the option of bringing their crops inside when the weather turns cold. Today we will tell you about some vegetables or herbs you can grow from seed this May on your balcony or patio. Before we're getting started, go ahead and subscribe. Also, press the bell button to get the latest updates and learn more about gardening, alternative medicine, and indoor plants. Without any further ado, let us start. Number 5. Tomatoes. Tomatoes are among the most straightforward crops to cultivate in a container. You may easily produce tomatoes in your balcony container garden if you have a place that receives at least 5 to 6 hours of sunlight per day. Instead of one of the larger tomato kinds, try growing a dwarf variety or cherry tomatoes if you have limited room. Patio Princess, Bush Steak, Sweetheart of the Patio, Tumbler, and Glacier are tomato cultivars that are ideally suited to container planting. When it comes to growing tomatoes in pots, one of the most common concerns is how to control the expanding vines or bushes. Right? Don't worry, tomatoes will thrive in almost any type of container. You only need a support structure to tuck your tomato branches in, such as cages or stakes. You must know what kind of plant you are planting. This will ensure that your tomato plants produce the greatest results possible. Choose tomato cultivars that are compact and determinate. If you want to plant tomatoes successfully, the size of your container is critical. A 5-gallon container is ideal for growing tomatoes in pots. It has adequate room for the tomato root systems to flourish and may be moved easily if necessary. Drill several 1x4-inch holes in the tomato container's bottom. Don't make the mistake of thinking you can get by with just one drainage hole. For drainage, add 2 to 3 inches of gravel to the bottom of the container. To begin, fill the container about 34% of the way with bagged potting soil. It should be a soil that drains nicely. Make sure your tomatoes in containers aren't over-fertilized. Fertilizer has plenty of room to leak out in the garden. Pots, on the other hand, are a different story. Check the soil bag to see if your potting soil has any nutrients in it. It is advantageous to get a potting mix that has these 3 nutrients. Harvest your tomato plants on a regular basis to relieve the weight on the limbs. Harvest frequently so that the tomato plants can continue to flower and produce additional fruit. Number 4. Beans. Both pole beans and bush beans thrive in container gardening. All you need is a sunny location, a pot at least 1 foot deep, and a trellis-like structure for the vines to grow on for climbing kinds, and you may expect a bumper crop of beans in just a few weeks. Bush Blue Lake or Contender are good bush bean kinds to grow in containers. Cherokee Trail of Tears is a good choice for container-friendly pole beans. Mascot green beans are a good choice for green bean kinds that grow nicely in containers. To grow green beans successfully, find a container that is deep enough for the beans to grow in. The depth you should plant your beans at is determined on the type of bean you wish to cultivate. Bush beans require at least 6 to 7 inches of depth, whereas pole beans require at least 8 to 9 inches. Beans are a reasonably simple crop to cultivate. However, by supplying your young plants with suitable conditions, you can boost your chances of a plentiful crop. As an example, beans grow as annuals in their natural habitat in temperate or subtropical regions. They love warm conditions, with temperatures ranging from 65 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Bean germination is best when the soil temperature is between 70 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit. If the temperature of your growing media is below 60 degrees Fahrenheit when you sow, the seeds will perish before sprouting. Green beans require full sun in addition to warm temperatures to thrive. That is, you should spend at least 6 to 8 hours per day in direct sunlight. Any less than that, and production will suffer. Number 3. Radishes. Radishes are a fast-growing crop that is ideal for container gardening. They thrive in small containers as well. For tiny radish varieties, use a container that is at least 6 inches deep. For larger varieties, use a container that is at least 10 inches deep. You can grow more than one radish plant per container if you place them in a broad container with a lot of surface area. Simply place each plant at least 2 inches apart to allow plenty of area for growth. Radishes should be ready to harvest between 24 and 60 days after sowing, depending on the type. Aside from the really large cultivars, almost any radish type is suitable for containers. Choose an open, sunny place for your radish plants and companion plants that won't tower over your radishes when deciding where to put them. When radish plants are exposed to too much shade, they tend to concentrate their energy on generating larger leaves, resulting in a disappointing crop. Thus, a sunny site is essential. Thin out your radish plants to one every 2 inches after they've been growing for about a week. Radish plants that are overcrowded will not grow properly, so give them plenty of area to stretch out and develop. Number 2. Carrots. Carrots may be grown in containers if you choose the proper kinds. Short carrots should be chosen over regular carrot kinds, as normal carrot varieties require more room for their roots to grow. Also, choose a container that is deep enough to accommodate their lengthy taproots. To avoid mildew problems, avoid overwatering and keeping vegetation dry. Romeo, Tonda di Perigee, and Little Finger are the best carrot kinds for pots. When the soil begins to dry out, water your carrots on a regular basis. During particularly hot or dry weather, drink water on a daily basis. Though compost will give enough of nutrients for your carrots during the growing season, liquid fertilizers can be added once or twice during the season to supplement the compost and help your carrots grow faster. Number 1. Squashes. The squash family as a whole is a warm season crop that is extremely frost sensitive. Squash seeds are my preferred way of planting, although seedlings can also be successful. Just make sure the seedlings you select are very little and haven't begun to vine yet. Summer squashes such as zucchini, crookneck squash, and patty pan belong to the squash family. Winter squashes such as pumpkins, butternut, spaghetti, and banana squash are all members of this family. Don't forget about cucumbers, our personal favorite. Prepare the ground where each squash will grow before planting or putting seeds outside. Fill a hole with a mixture of homemade compost or well-rotted manure and dirt, roughly the depth, width, and height of a spade. Because they require a lot of water, place a 6-inch pot next to each plant and fill it with water. This guarantees that the water gets down to the roots and not around the plant's neck, where it can rot. Once the first fruits begin to swell, feed every 10 to 14 days with a high potassium liquid fertilizer such as tomato feed. Harvest their fruits when they are small, sweet, and have a velvety skin. Picking regularly will foster the formation of more fruits. That is all for today, folks. Tell us in the comment section if you'll try to grow any of these wonderful vegetables and what you think about our tips. See you again in the next video.